Chapter 1. Let's get personal. Small talk isn't my thing. I like to connect with people on a deeper level than the weather or what they've been doing today. Knowing someone's history, where they're at in life, can be relevant, but I would much rather start conversations with, what emotion is heavy on your heart today? Perhaps, how's your day hard, or how is your day perfect? Or maybe, you show me your wounds and I'll show you mine. Yeah, I guess it's strange to lead with that. Knowing someone generally is probably more socially acceptable and doesn't smell of unresolved trauma. So here you go with small talk so that we can get to the good stuff in a socially acceptable manner. I'm a Mormon, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, if you want to be technical. This is a high-demand Christian religion, which I happen to love. Mom of 4 bio kids and a few wonderful bonus kids that came to me in various ways. I love yoga, deep conversations, my family, my friends, all things visually beautiful, early bedtime, long massages, and occasional paper crafting. Did you notice that I handmade the cover just for you? But more on that later. I love the beach, early morning snuggles from my baby girl, highly animated people so that I can be entertained without having to do the entertaining. Compliments, nice restaurants, comfy clothes, expensive shoes, my savior, things that seem at odds but make sense together, and feeling myself grow. Sister time is the best, as well as hot dates with my husband, laughing so hard I get a stitch, singing out loud to music in the car by myself, and so much more that I'm getting carried away with it. Still, my favorite thing is deep connection, feeling seen, knowing another soul, and them knowing mine. So let's get to it. Now that we finished with that, why don't you cozy up next to me so we can read my journal together? See, I told you, straight to the nitty-gritty with me. My journal that my kids would sometimes draw or write in. October 2008. A letter from Lark at 7 years old. Dear Mom, I love you so much. 10,000. I hate it when you are ill. I hope you never cry. Love, Lark. With the stick drawing from the top of the chapter of her and I together. Lark had seen me have a meltdown a day prior. To be honest, I wasn't sick. I was having one of those moments that we all have. One of those days when everything felt terrible. I felt like the most useless person and wondered what I was even doing. I made an excuse that I didn't feel well, but she's always been able to see to my heart, even if her 7-year-old brain couldn't articulate it then to call me out. She learned that later. Fast forward to one of my angry venting entries a decade later. May 12th, 2018. Lark, why do you delight in hurting others? You single-handedly ruined my Mother's Day weekend. You mock me relentlessly, tease anyone in the room, and even try to inflict physical pain on me and them. Why? You say you've never felt the Spirit or even if God exists. You lie to yourself. What darkness has such a hold on you, and when will you recognize it and banish it from your heart? I miss you. Please come back to me. Okay. I want to clarify something since you and I are now best friends. A lot has happened in the decade between these two entries and in the years since. I don't remember that weekend at all right now as I write. I remember that I cried a ton, and I thought Lark was unbearable for many years. My closet was my favorite place to go cry. It's in a far corner of the house, so I won't be heard. I didn't want anyone to know, especially Lark, that I was so upset. I felt that she would have gloated over her victory. I felt like she tried to wound me, and so I avoided her as much as I could without detection. New bestie, I want to look into your eyes and tell you that it's okay to admit your teens are unbearable. To know that your baby is gone and you don't know the person living in their room. It's okay to tell me you don't like your teen. I have done it before, and now, as a life coach who works specifically with parents on their relationships with their teens, I have heard it confessed countless times. I get that it can be challenging, but part of the process is acknowledging where we are at in our relationships with our teens. I want to show you the whole picture of me and my teen. Don't get me wrong, I cringe to write that I struggle to like being around my daughter, to let you see and to see it again myself. I shudder to imagine her reading this, which she will. I asked her permission to write this book, showing her the outline. We both cried. She put on a very brave face and said, yes. If it helps one child or one person not to experience what I did, then yes. Please know, spoiler alert, that Lark is wonderful. She is now and she was then. We also both had a lot of growing up to do, and we still do. Things are 99% heaven 99% of the time. She knows me more deeply than most people. I feel safe showing her so much of me. We are in a place I never thought possible, that terrible, fateful Mother's Day weekend I mentioned above. But it sucked for a long time. I am bearing my soul to you, so it doesn't have to cost you decades as well. You're welcome. That's what friends do. As my bestie, you know that I wear my heart on my sleeve. I can't fake it very well or for very long. I'm highly emotional in a stable, good kind of way. I've already cried multiple times looking through my journal, remembering and writing this. If you have as well, we're more than besties, soul sisters. You picked this book up for a reason. We all want to have amazing relationships with our teens, but sometimes doesn't it feel like they're making it impossible? I want you to know that you're not alone. Too often we look around at everyone else and see how amazing their teens are or their relationship with them. We feel like we have to hide how bad it has gotten or how resentful we are toward our own kids. So we layer some shame on our parenting wounds too. We all need a place to be truthful and real about what's happening. Let's make this the foundation of our relationship, okay? I'll go first. Truths you should know about me. I've decided no longer to apologize for who I am. I am a crier. I will cry with you, for your babies, and mine. A good cry is sometimes exactly what is needed. I no longer shun this part of me. It's not dramatic and it's not just female. Ugh, I hate the idea that we are all taught to dislike innate, beautiful parts of who we are because of others' discomfort. It just makes it harder to understand and cultivate all of our divine attributes. I cry to release energy and mourn with others. I've decided I like it. Maybe that makes some people uncomfortable. I get that. I was that. I hope never to apologize for crying again. If tears aren't your jam, that's cool. I try to be honest, not in the, yeah, those pants make you look fat kind of way, although I won't lie either, but in a, I see you, I see the problem, I love you no matter what kind of way. I don't like beating around the bush and I don't like being patronized. Sometimes I think this comes off as me being awkward. I'm trying to make peace with that one. I just want to skip the boring surface stuff and see if our souls connect. Part of me fixing my teen is accepting and loving who I am. I've come a long way and now love learning new things about myself for the most part. I am still human. And that hesitant part, it's just another little layer of my fears and hurts that needs to be gently held while I nurture it back to health. This book is for parents wanting to own up to who they are, how they show up in relation to their teen, and how we all have a part in that relationship. So, if you are in, keep reading. Let me begin with the fact that no part of you or me is unworthy of love and care. At our core, we are all goodness and light. The dark, the struggle, the self-loathing comes from you and me buying into the crap lies that we aren't worthy of goodness, that we have to earn our value, that people would reject us if they really knew us. Lies. I had to start with myself to have the awareness and skill to fix anything else, including my teen. Reading between the lines, I can see in my journal entry above that I hated myself. I'm blaming Lark for how I feel. You single-handedly ruined my Mother's Day weekend. You mock me relentlessly, tease anyone in the room, and even try to inflict physical pain on me and them. Please come back to me. Blaming your baby, no matter how distempered they're acting, is like hating your height. There's nothing you can do about it but feel self-contempt, which is where hatred can take hold, which is where I was. I hated my teen, and that made me hate myself even more for hating her. I was the victim of my villainous child. She was the reason for my pain, and I believed she liked it. Double ouch. Please consider, who are you? Who are you with your teen? Who are you with your partner, family of origin, or friends? Who are you with yourself? These things matter. I was such a people-pleasing chameleon that I didn't know how to be me. I danced around for over a decade trying to be the mom that kids liked, the mom that they would respect and obey. Because if my kids liked me, respected me, and obeyed me, that meant I was a good mom. That meant I could love myself. If they behaved well, others would see them and therefore me as good. Then I could rest easy and know I was doing a good job and everything would work out just fine. The truth is, shape-shifting is hard work. And it doesn't produce goodness, just resentment and exhaustion, because it doesn't work long term. BFF, best friend forever, obviously, I am a really good people pleaser in recovery. I learned from the best. My mom is a freaking saint and doormat. But if you asked her, she would probably say your happiness is hers. I have found that this isn't just something my mom thinks, it's generational. Many older women believe their worthiness is based on their children's well-being and happiness. I love this generation of women, but it kills me to think that they raised kids believing their worth was based on their kids. I see moms currently doing this with their teens, and it breaks my heart with the hurt it causes to everyone in their family. My mom is unlike any other. She really does delight in others' happiness. I swear I could say, Mom, let's go to the gynecologist. They have this room with 2 torture tables, and I really love stirrups, and we should do it together. We can hold hands, ask for mirrors, and have a delightful afternoon. She would say nothing could make her happier and come along as she smiled and saddled up. Seriously. One time, when my little sister and I were teens, so we knew everything, did everything perfectly, were unconquerable and perfect, we decided that Mom needed a haircut. We sat her down, both of us with scissors, and went ham on her hair. Cutting, pulling her hair in various directions as we rotated spots a few times, laughing so hard that I think we both peed our pants. She sat there smiling the whole time. What the freak? Yeah, I was bratty as a teen. It's funny how I felt so justified. This memory is intact. Her hair was terrible. We left it better. Such kind daughters that we were. I genuinely thought that, and that we were doing her a favor. I'm glad I grew out of the self-absorbed arrogance that is age-appropriate for teens. Still, I can't be a total martyr like my mom. She's the only person I've ever met who is happy to please, like all the time. So, yeah, that didn't work so well for me because I'm a normal human. I love you, mommy. It didn't take long for me to realize that I could never be so happy to play the selfless saint like my mom. And I was left in limbo. Sure, we all love making our kids happy, seeing their smiles and feeling their love. But I also like chores getting done, mouths that tell the truth and don't say rude things, eyes that look with love instead of death stares. You know, the basics of human respect. Teens are beautiful, wonderful creatures that realize they should expect things from others, but are blind to see when they miss giving them. I couldn't find genuine peace in only endlessly giving all the time. And I don't know if we're supposed to. I felt so broken during these years of finding myself. I knew that remaining an egocentric person didn't feel right. I also realized that I didn't like my mom's selfless martyr approach either. I had to find the middle ground of taking everyone's needs, including my own, into consideration to see how I was contributing to problems and learn how to be able to tell what I needed to work on versus what others were responsible for. March 16th, 2015. Well, so far I've been a failure. I'm so down on myself, I can hardly stand to be me. But yesterday was a really great Sunday. I felt the spirit. I need to be less worried about temporal things. I need to be doing and focusing on what's really important. I can finally see the storm clouds parting. I need to be better. Now I need to remember what it really is I need to be better at. So I'm still hard on myself. I ping-ponged a lot between dark and light spaces. I think this is totally normal, but I've mastered the dance so much better and with better effect since then, but not without even more darkness. The entries above and below aren't that far apart. It can feel like whiplash keeping up with our kids' moods, their words, our thoughts, and what the spirit wants us to know. This is normal. Not super fun, but normal. The highs are high and the lows, well, June 18th, 2015. I hate myself when I look at myself through the eyes of my husband and teens. I am a complete failure. Do they know how hard I try? No. Being me is a thankless, unappreciated job. I am worthless. They only notice my failures, which are many. I figure they imagine being better off without me. I can't blame them. It happens all the time. Yep, that's me. Tear-blurred words all over the place. Again, I have no recollection of the specific context for either entry. I assume the quotation, "it happens all the time," is something said to me that spurred the June 18th entry. I know that I was not suicidal, which that entry could suggest. I had wonderful friends who were so supportive and extended family who cared. But motherhood is a lonely path. If you are there, I love you. It gets better. Stick with me, bestie. No storm lasts forever. And if you choose to evolve with me, the darkness will be infinitely shorter with a better outcome than you can picture right now. The crazy thing is, I knew I was a great mom for so long that when puberty hit for my oldest, it really threw me. Sure, little kids try your patience, but I fed them well and gave them great bedtime tuck-ins with stories and songs and back scratches, drinks of water, snuggles, and everything. I was an attentive, loving, stay at home, never lose my cool, go to the park, library, and splash pad playdate kind of mom. I knew all the boxes and checked them with more love than you could have imagined. I love nurturing my kids and others. And then one day, it didn't work. What the freak? What to Expect When You're Expecting needs a sequel called What No Other Mother Tells You Because of Shame and How Bad It Sucks. Maybe that should have been the title for this book. Would you have picked it up to read? Back to my 2 journal entries above. Obviously, I made it all about me, that I had failed, that I was broken, that I had to fix it, or I was a failure. How do you feel about who you see through the eyes of your kids, husband, and self? What are your strengths, wounds? What does you need to hear? Psst, it's safe to tell her that it doesn't matter, that she's good enough as is, that she's worthy of love right now. Please, bestie, don't waste more time buying into any other tragic story. They never end well. Are you ready to have a good, clear look at yourself, your child, and the situation? Are you ready to find the right balance for you, somewhere between caring for both your family and yourself? Fair warning, it's not easy for the weak to become meek, no ego. It's the full measure of one's courage to honestly self-reflect. I'm right there with you as I share some of my darkest moments in the following chapters. I do this as a gesture of our friendship, that you aren't alone, and that with my 9-step process, you can come through the darkest of nights with more strength, love, and peace than you know what to do with. Promise.